Cool, welcome to the show. We are here at CIT Performance Institute, the newly formed, newly built, newly laid out. If you can see in the background, I'm joined by Scotty. I think everyone should know Dricus and Hennie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, Al. Thanks for having us.
So basically where I want to start is just basically run us through CIT Performance Institute. You're in a new facility. Obviously, Scotty from the yard, you've joined in with Dricus and Hennie. You've got your stuff going. You obviously handle like nutrition, strength and conditioning for the guys. We've got a bit of a mental coach on that side and the fighter with us who cover all aspects. So I don't know who wants to start. Just maybe Dricus, maybe you can start. What was the idea behind the inception of CIT Performance Institute, and what's going to be different going forward with this facility as opposed to the previous facility?
So I think the biggest difference is definitely professionality in terms of being able to have everything you need as a professional athlete, not only as a fighter but obviously at this stage specializing in fighters, having everything you need under one roof, because we got to a stage where when CIT was formed originally, and it was training, but it was MMA training. It wasn't commercial at all. We had a little bit of amateur side later on, but it was more just a professional fight team training, fighting. That's it. Strength and conditioning was something that we did while we were training, fighting. It was some body conditioning, some squats, some stuff. It wasn't scientific, if you understand what I'm saying.
Some squats along the way.
Yeah. So and then I met Scotty, and about 3 years ago he started training me for the first time. I had somebody. I mean, we just did strength and conditioning, how we thought something that makes you tired, that's what's going to get you fit. I mean, that's how it is. And Scotty started doing some proper strength training and fitness training. I actually started training less than I used to because I was always overtraining, and it was so much more scientific. And then I realized, now I'm going to Scotty, but I'm the only one, so I'm getting that, and I'm getting fitter and stronger, and just going up the levels. And after this 3 years, it just made sense because we have so many great fighters, but everybody can't necessarily go to Joburg. I'm a full-time fighter. That's all I do. So it's possible for me to drive to Joburg 3 times a week for training. And when we decided we were going to make this facility, it just made 100% sense, because as far as fighting goes, CIT with Coach Monet, it's undoubtedly one of the biggest and best clubs in Africa. It's been around for very long. And once Scotty came on board with that, we said, well, now we have a facility on our hands, because Scotty's been training athletes in so many different fields. He's had champions, and just the difference it made to my game. And then we started with the project, and this is what came out, and it's gone to go better. It's amazing.
Okay, awesome, man. So obviously for those people that can't see it, there's a massive mat section section behind. There's a cage, there's bags, there's a strength and conditioning area over there. Obviously the facility looks great. It's brand new. From what we can see, got everything you need. So Scotty, this is where you can jump in. So just tell us what it is now. I mean, obviously overseas we see facilities like this where MMA facilities are almost everything under one roof. You know what I mean? So you don't have to venture too far. So just fill us in how easier that is for you to have access to like Team CIT as a whole. So all the guys that are training here, you've got access to them, and what it is exactly that you're doing with them, and how you fit in.
So I mean, like Dricus mentioned, I've worked with him for 3 years. Did get to work with quite a few of the other guys, David Bursky, Gareth, Daniela, and Jeremy. Those on the way.
Yeah.
But it was always a struggle for a lot of them to get through to the yard in 4 ways. Having it here now, we can get a system going. So we're busy working on that. Obviously, we've just sort of opened our doors. And Hennie as well with the mental training. The big thing is to get a system going that works for the team. And having the facility right here, everyone sort of lives closer to the gym here. We can get everyone on a standardized system where we can test them more regularly, check where they're at, check on their weight, help them with the right divisions, prepping for their fights, going into camps properly, structuring the season for the guys, so also choosing the right events for them to peak for, putting the right group of guys on the right events, light guys, heavy guys, so that we get a structure for the season that makes sense. So just from a periodization point of view. But yeah, the biggest thing is just having a bigger group of MMA guys for me is it allows for more testing, more standardization, and better training protocols. So yeah, I think from strength and conditioning point of view, as we start going into 2019, we'll start seeing the effects of that once we have more guys on board. And just with the professional facility and Hennie helping us manage it and the mental side of things, it really is just going to become a more holistic offering to the fighters, a more complete. Like you say, there's a lot of gyms that exist like this overseas. There's not too many here, but we just want to provide the guys with a complete opportunity to cover every aspect of the game.
Sure. And just something you said in there, Scotty, so you've obviously said you've got like a bigger testing pool now, so you've got access to a lot more guys. So how do you think it'll benefit going both ways? So you can say, okay, look, we tried this for, let's say, flyweight to bantamweight, that works. The heavier guys we need to tweak here, and so it starts to like kind of become like that symbiotic relationship where everybody's starting to benefit, that you can experiment a little bit more, and so can they. You can see, I mean, obviously you know what's worked with Dricus in the past, and all the other people you've worked with. So is it kind of like expanding a general knowledge for everybody, yourself included? You know what I mean? Like you basically got this bigger pool of test subjects.
I mean, the system has, you know, the principles have never changed since starting with the very first MMA guy 5.5 years ago. It's just become more refined and more developed, and even with Dricus, like as he develops, his training has to develop as well to the level he's on. And the thing is, with more guys, it's more feedback from them. But the biggest thing is we need to find a system that works for a group of fighters that all have different lifestyles and that. So there will be guys like Dricus who will still be doing a third or fourth strength and conditioning session, and more semi-pro guys who will be doing 2 sessions a week. So, but just the general getting a baseline, what we think is acceptable fitness-wise, weight-wise, outside of a fight, you know, and having that structure and saying, guys, listen, you can't even enter this camp because you're too far out weight-wise. You're going to be on too hectic a diet before. So it's having the structure and a bit more strictness in place and professionalism in place for these guys.
I also feel to add on to that now that we have the facility, Scotty can be here more often because now he's part of it, and for all the fighters it's so beneficial because now there's a standardized program, basically a protocol of how we should do it and a program for everybody, but everybody, like you said, is still different in their ways. Like for me, I can't really do too much squatting with heavy weights because I'm going to put up too much weight too fast if I start doing that. And where somebody else has to do that because for his weight he needs a bit more strength, just for example. So I think with Scotty being much more involved, the team is just going to grow even better and better and better. And he's also going to learn from guys. You know, you can't, if a guy has this build, you know, with the weight cuts and everything, I mean, people will look at me and say, you're never going to make middleweight again. And I mean, I'm in good shape now. I mean, I'm about 10 kgs lighter than I was last year this time. And you know, making 77 for me, it's a tough cut, but it's never been a problem ever. And you know, it's just the lessons that we've learned throughout cutting. And Scotty's known, like the lessons I've learned, he's known all that stuff. And you know, for everybody in the gym, I mean, everybody just kind of used to wing it when it came to weight cut because I was with Scotty, but everybody else wasn't. And now it's so much better for the whole team as a whole to be part of a structure. You know, when you cut weight, you don't have to worry about your stuff. Oh, you're going to be tired in the fight. Everything is ready for you. And that's where Hennie comes in. I mean, he takes care of everything we need in terms of the professionality of the team. I mean, we'll get to an event and nobody brought, for example, strings for the banners. You know, it would be like, oh shit, every time. And now it's so much, as a team, that's what we're trying to reach. We're trying to be as professional as possible, to make a professional team, to make everything, you know, perfect. When we get to fight night, that's it. Actually what everything goes towards is every fight night, when you have somebody on the card to make sure everything is going perfect. Then like I said, that's where he comes in. He takes care of that because, you know, if everybody has something to do, it's just everybody forgets something. And with Hennie, like you just make sure everything's there. Everybody, he puts it all together, and it works. It showed to work. I mean, our last fight night was probably the best one we've had in a while. Everybody showed up. Everybody pitched up. It was the first fight night we had with this system, and it looked great. Everything went
I guess that's the biggest thing. I mean, the guys have done so well for how many years, CIT, and you know, Mornay coaches them in the evenings and has run an amazing shop, and we just want to try to support that and his skills and what he's brought to the table, and put some more structure behind it and support what he's doing, and make it a little bit more easier for the fighters and more professional. And like, for example, showing up, they have their rehydration stuff on weigh-in day, we've helped them cut, etc. And then on fight night, warm up some more, set up, So it's just providing a better backbone and structure. That's the big idea here for the fighters.
Okay, so Hennie, that's up to you now to fill us in on okay, Dricus obviously described that you're the manager, and I think that's, as you're saying that, I think that's something so cool, because I can't think of any other gym that I've been into where they've got somebody that's dedicated to that sort of stuff. And you know, I mean, especially if you're a big team, you guys had 3 guys in different organizations fighting on the same night, so it's a lot to remember. And those guys, you kind of like, it's like the drunk friend, you know what I mean? You kind of just got to like look after them, you know what I mean? You can't let them think about too much. So to hear that you guys have set somebody up that's kind of taking care of like exterior kind of things, and small things like strings, and you know, like how many times have guys like forgotten like their fight shorts, or
exactly,
like
because those are the small things you don't think about.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's really cool. So just fill us in on your role there, Hennie. Obviously, like as a management agent, and then as well as the mental stuff, and kind of just tell us what you're doing with the athletes.
So basically what we try to create from the management role point of view is, like Scotty already said, a holistic system where the fighter only needs to worry about pitching up and train, and fight night, pitch up and fight. So we want to take away all the hassle that can drain any of the mental capacity of the fighter, any problems that can pop up somewhere along the line. We want to make sure we straighten them out before it even becomes a problem for them. Like on the management side. With the mental stuff, we try to also take a holistic point of view in terms of make sure that we really cover all the bases that there is, not stick to only like one set routine of mental training. I think the thing that we probably do very well is that we are very consistent with the mental training, especially with Dricus. We don't see it as a quick fix for anything. We have realized a long time ago it's not a secret pill you can take. It's hard work. As with physical conditioning, it's something you need to do every day. It's something you need to attend to every week, make sure you're on par with everything, and basically just to make sure that all our athletes are in a good mental space all the time. Not even if they're out of camp, if they're training, we want to make sure that everything is as easy for them as possible. And I think that's why the management and the mental coaching sort of goes hand in hand for us here, because if he pitch up on fight night and something is wrong, that immediately puts an amount of stress on the athlete that's not necessary, that will, in a very close fight, will have a small effect on it. And that's, I think, why we run those two hand in hand. So basically, the basis of it is we try to, even with the vicinity in general for the general public and everybody, we try to have it in such a manner that you can pitch here and everything you need will be here and you can leave. There's no worries regarding your fighting that you need to worry about. Because we have a lot of athletes that are basically, they are semi-professional. So if you take a Gareth Bursky, for instance, that fought at Brave this weekend, he wakes up at 4:30 every morning, goes to his job, pitch here at 5 and then trains. And so basically we want to make sure that guy doesn't need any more hassles regarding fighting than other than to pitch to train. So if he needs anything, he can just tell me and I'll make sure it's there.
And also Hennie's now helping manage them in terms of with the organizations, chatting to Graham, you know.
Yeah, because also
sorting
I
out
think,
their fights, that helps.
It's easy for fighters and the organization to pick up scrap easily. Like for me, for example, I don't have any trouble with any promotions yet that I've fought with. But as a fighter, especially when you're in fight camp, you can't be phoned and worry about this and that in your fight. I mean, somewhere you're gonna pick up a problem. You can't agree with everybody.
100%.
So it's so much easier to have one guy that is like, it's basically a manager between the managing between the organization and the fighters, and just to keep the peace. It just makes it so much easier. It just, it's basically the words of the fighter going directly to the promotion and vice versa.
Yeah, I think it's also like for young fighters who don't really know what they're doing, it's massively important. So they've got like a guideline, and they're basically not figuring it out. They've been told what to do.
Yeah, for instance, I have Cameron, one of our young fighters that will probably soon, we hope to promote him and to get into more professional. So he, for instance, knows nothing about the fight world out of the amateur leagues yet.
Yeah.
And we sit here with a guy like Dricus with a lot of expertise that all of us have learned a lot from him and Mornay, like how to handle the promotion. So Cammy will have a lot easier road than Dricus had, because we already know what to do, when to let him fight, how to make sure he's prepped for that fight. And I think that's just basically what helps the fighters quite a bit in terms of managing that part for them.
The other side of that coin is like fighters, especially fighters compared to other athletes, often need like a bit of control. You know what I mean? Because most fighters will be like, and to be honest, like I've heard about those sort of stories through art camps where they just arrive and they're like to their coach, like, "Cool, we're starting camp today." And they're like,
"I'm fighting."
I signed a fight.
I haven't trained for 2 months. And
you can't, you know, like we were discussing with someone off air, and some guys are like that, and I get it, but if you want to be a professional in this game, you cannot be looking at it the same way you look at club rugby. You know what I mean? Be like, you know, you were drunk on Thursday and you're playing on Friday. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot be like that. You know what I mean? There's consequences here, and there are guys like that who just, you know, they're kind of casual athletes, if you put it like that. They're kind of just fighting and doing their thing and whatever, because they see it in the same length as like club rugby or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. They
can't be like that. There has to be a
especially line. on the way the sport's going. I mean, as an amateur, sure, you can do whatever you want. If you're just doing it for the fun of it, cool beans. That's your story. But if you step in, I mean, in the EFC now, the level of the sport, even as the debutants come in, the level of the sport's just going up, and you're getting so much more full-time athletes that you can't be, like you say, not trained for 2-3 months and then all of a sudden just decide, now I'm going to start a camp now. Your fight camp is not for, you can't get better that way, because I don't get better in my fight camps. In my fight camps, I already know exactly what I'm going to do in that fight when the camp starts, and we work on that. We don't learn new tricks and stuff. Sure. That's what I'm doing now. That's why I'm still training 3 times a day, but it's not fight camp training. So I'm not training to get my body in the best physical shape. I'm training to peak. I'm training to learn. I'm training the skills, the stuff that maybe in the previous fight that skill wasn't up to standard yet, so I didn't use it in the fight. But now I have to sharpen those tools. When for the next fight, I mean, I can't go in there and fight the same every time, because it's a matter of time before somebody figures it out. So that's why you have to be able, even if you're just doing 1 session a day out of camp. And that's what we're trying to do with everybody in the gym now, just to get it a bit more professional, you know, so everybody can go forward. Because the other thing is, you have to remember is, if you're just staying behind while the team is trying to go forward, you're holding back everybody, because the coach can't just go on to the next thing if this guy doesn't, you know, follow up. So, you know, and that's one thing we're trying to do, like to make sure that the team as a whole goes forward, and not just one guy goes up, one guy goes down. And unfortunately, with that way, you'll lose a lot of teammates. I mean, we have lost teammates because when they realize the sport, the team, everybody's just outgrown them, and then the gap is too far. And that's what happens when you have guys not training for 2 months and then coming back and just want to start again.
They'll realize very quickly in sparring.
They'll realize in sparring very quickly, like, listen, I have no business being in here with these guys.
I think another thing as well is what we are working towards is really structuring the amateur side of things, so that by the time an amateur is called up to the pro team, he understands our structures, our systems, what we expect, how we help them choose fights, etc., etc. So it's a big part of the system.
That's kind of like, it's so I've been roped into many discussions about amateur MMA, and realistically, like, I can't comment too much. I can comment on what I see and my opinion, you know what I mean? But I'm not organizing, I'm not competing, and there's definitely something there at amateur MMA where we're missing. You know what I mean? I think guys are getting pulled up too early, but like I said, that's one of those things where if you take any fighter and you say, look, the best fighters will say, look, I'm not quite ready yet. You know what I mean? To take that step.
Yeah.
And for example, like a guy like Rudy Roots, not to say that he's not ready, but he's being very smart about how he's going about his career, because they teed him up to take to start a negotiation with King Dricus after he won his fight on Saturday.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, you could see that was kind of the intention, and he brought it back and he was like, no, the next guy up from me is he believes Steven Gonzalez, which I think will be a tough test for him.
Yeah, that's
a longer guy.
But it's a tough enough test.
Exactly.
That's what you need to build yourself.
So he's being smart about it, you know what I mean? And he knows where he wants to go, and realistically in himself he knows where he is right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys aren't like that. You've got a lot of guys that get bad information, they get bad advice. You know what I mean? Like a guy goes 2-3-0, wins an EWC belt, and they're like, off to EFC,
Yeah,
go,
100%.
and goes on a 3-fight losing streak. And
Yeah,
you wonder why. You know what I mean? There's so much more involved than just being able to fight and having the skill set. Because you've reached X amount of skill set, but you've got to get.
For us, it's
different
a
levels.
thing is with a lot of amateurs. I think I don't know if it's the money factor, but that's the worst decision you can ever make, is to say, I want to go pro because I want to get paid to fight. Because if you go pro this year, you're going to lose, and that's on your record. As an amateur, you can lose 10 fights in a row, win 5 fights in a row, and then go pro. There's no problem with that.
Sure.
But as soon as you go pro, that stuff's on your record and it stays there forever. And as soon as you start losing, it takes your value down. So now you're going to get paid $2,000 to fight, and then I mean that doesn't even cover your petrol to the event. So,
especially if it's in carnival.
yeah, so exactly. I mean, guys are making, like you're saying, need guidance in terms of that, and they need a system. So what I'm saying is, if you can't be the best at amateurs as an amateur, how do you want to compete with pros?
Sure.
So I think we have a good system of I don't know how many gyms are doing it. I haven't been to too many that does it locally. We split our pros and amateurs completely, and as we make it that you can earn your way into the pro team. You don't have to fight pro already. It's just how you've been fighting. As soon as you start competing for quite, you're starting doing good, you're starting to fight 4 belts or close to as an amateur, we start pulling you into the pro team to get you used to, only training, to get you used to, not even every session or not even sparring yet, just the pro training. And then we'll do a sparring session every now and again where we invite the top level amateur guys to say, listen, let's see where you're at. Let's see
Check it out.
who's going somewhere. Like, where's the faults? This guy, like, he can be the greatest in the techniques ever, but when he takes a shot, what happens then? Because at the amateurs, he's the top guy, so he doesn't get punched in the face. But at the pros, now it's a completely different game. Now you're getting punched in the face, and you're punching a guy. He doesn't care if you punch him. At the amateurs, you punch him, and he's scared of you the whole other round. Now at the pros, I mean, that's what it is. You get punched and you punch back. That's how it is. And that's one thing we've seen with a lot of guys. At the amateurs, they are number one. Like, they own that class. And when they come to the pros, all of a sudden they realize, oh. And that's where I believe you realize, do you really want to be a fighter? When you get there, because then you get those amateur guys.
And you shouldn't be realizing in the cage in your first pro fight.
In your first pro fight, listen, whoa. And we've seen with the guys, like, then you get other guys, technically they're not 100% there yet, but when they get to that sparring, they don't care, they can tough it out. Like, you can punch them, they're still there, and they don't lose skill as they get punched in the face. And that's something you can't really teach someone. That's when you are a fighter or you're not. And yeah, it's a controversial way. I think the CIT is known for doing it that way, and you know, we've also gotten so much smarter over the years. I mean, people still think we just go and we try to kill each other every Friday. That's why we go hard, because there's sessions to
So
go
on record,
hard.
that's not what you guys are trying.
No, we don't. We're not trying to do it. Yes, we've had accidents, but no, it's just that you have to, somewhere in your life, you can't find that out in a fight.
Sure.
You have to know that before you go into a fight. When it gets down to, can I say fuck down?
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay, yeah. When it gets down to fuck down, you have to know that you can handle that kind of.
So with all of that in mind, like, maybe Scotty and Hennie can try jump in here from just like an outside point of view. How important, firstly, is it are facilities like this going forward for the sport, and is it like, obviously you guys, all of you guys, are investing in MMA in some way or the other. You've made a financial investment, you've made a physical investment, you've made investment of time into the sport without even really, maybe perhaps not even realizing it. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, this facility is possibly the breaking ground of the next generation, of the evolution of the sport, moving it in. How important do you think facilities like this will become in the future, and what do you think about investing so much into the sport?
I think it's very, very important, especially like you mentioned earlier, in amateur MMA we might be missing something. So say for instance, you're a 17, 18-year-old boy and you play rugby in South Africa and you want to make rugby your career. You'll get a contract at one of the unions afterwards. Yeah. You go there from 19. They know everything about the rugby systems. They watch you from 19. They make sure you eat like you should. They make sure you train like you should. They gradually let you compete where your level is until you're ready to either be a professional or you realize, okay, maybe I just don't have the genetics or the will to make it. Currently in MMA, if you're 17, 18, where are you going to go? So you're going to go to the nearest MMA center, and maybe that guy there is self not even sure what's going on, so he's just throwing you into the next fight and see what happens himself. And we really want to try with our amateurs, and I think that will take the whole level of MMA a bit up, to create a system where if you pitch here on 16 and you say, my dream is to become a professional fighter, well, we have someone that went through the whole path, have walked the way, knows what to do when. We have someone that knows what's going on with the strength and conditioning and the nutrition. We have people that know how the systems work. So we can really guide you in the best way.
We can literally groom a guy
and groom you
only as a dream to become a professional athlete. Or to realize, don't waste my time with the sport.
Yeah.
I can do this for fun as an amateur, or for the fun of it because I love the sport. But don't waste your time. Don't not go study, or don't just give up everything and try to become a fighter if you're not going to be it. Because I think at this facility we have everything we need to be able to either guide you in that direction and guide you to be the best fighter you can be. And we also have like I said, we have that ability. And in that whole process, you're quickly going to realize, do I have what it takes to be the best? Do I have what it takes to be a professional fighter? Or is this just a hobby for me?
Sure. And so you would create a system in essence that's going to kind of like weed out the weak and the guys that really want to get through it.
Yeah, and a system that can tell you, listen, this is what it means to be a professional. Yeah. It's not only training 1 hour a day and eating however you like and for 6 weeks before a fight focus. So it will show you exactly, this is what you're going to need to be a professional. Here is everything you need. You just need to put in the work and be willing to do it.
I think the current generation of South African MMA fighters, it's the first time we're seeing breakthrough into the international market. Yeah. So guys like Dricus, Don, etc., they're paving the way now.
Yeah. And
so for the guys coming through behind them, you need facilities like this to help them to compete on the highest levels professionally. And there are only, in my head, a couple in the country now.
Yeah.
But the sport has made breakthroughs. It's taken time, and this generation's doing it. So it's going to become more and more pivotal now.
We're seeing youngsters looking up to the guys that's doing it in this facility. And 100%. I mean, if you look up to the guy, the best guy in your gym, at your local gym, and that guy is he fights sometimes, but he's not really a professional.
He doesn't train properly out of camp.
He eats what he wants. That's going to be that's what you see, that's what you do. Now, over here, the guys are training and they're looking, and that's what they want. They want to be where the pros are, or they want to train with that group, and they see, that's what I want. They see how you do it, and they quickly decide that I'm willing to do it or I'm not. And obviously, like that, we're not only here to have the best. No, we're here for the guy that wants to do it for fun, but he'll be in a different group than the guy who wants to do this to do this, to do it. So, and it's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different training session as well.
That's what I wanted to ask you now. Is obviously, so one of the bigger changes here is that you guys are opening for the first time your doors to a commercial section. Yeah. So there'll be jiu-jitsu classes and stand-up classes. Will you do the same thing here like you do at the yard, so guys will have access to it?
Yeah, we basically will be, besides our amateur and professional MMA sessions, which are separate on our schedule. We have a fight fitness,
Okay.
which is basically the opening of the funnel.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, he's seen MMA, could be 16, wants to come try that, or an older guy just wants to get fit.
Yeah.
In that beginning of the funnel, they may get into the amateurs, or they may just stay there and do it as a lifestyle thing, fitness.
Yeah,
and
so it will be
conditioning.
more fitness training in terms of
Using MMA movements.
Using MMA movements, and very soon you'll be able to see, listen, this guy has, when he hits the bag, you'll see, okay, cool. It's not that they're not going to do any technique, it's just not going to be solely focused on the
Yeah.
And
technique.
it will also be obviously his intention, and they'll make it clear, and they'll say, like, you'll screen them.
Yeah.
You want to come through to amateurs? Okay, we'll start with this, and then we'll see where you're at. And then when you're ready to go to amateurs, amateurs, and then up to pros.
Because just like you can't let a guy just train with pros,
Yeah.
you can't just let a guy train with amateurs even. Because I mean, now you have 10 amateurs here that they've had 5+ amateur fights, maybe amateur title. That guy can fight. Now there's a new guy. He's never fought in his life. He's never been in a MMA gym, but he's with the amateurs. So now they're training together, and very soon he's going to be like, no, this is not for me. Nobody wins like that. The guy that's the guy with the experience, he's not learning anything. He's not being able to do his drill properly because this guy knows nothing. And the guy that knows nothing, he's just being overwhelmed. So he's like, no, this is horrible. I don't want to do this. So we're trying to make a level, not only amateur pro level, but also have a level below the amateurs, where like a completely entry level, where you realize, I want to do this for the fitness part because this is a great class for that. But if you want to do it more than only fitness and see, okay, cool, now I'm feeling more comfortable, I know how to throw a punch, I know I'm at least, because that's your biggest problem as a first timer, is how you don't realize how tired MMA makes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
now
then-
you get that bit of combat fitness in you. You've done the movements for about a month or two, and then you say, okay, cool, I think I'm ready to at least try and go to the amateur class.
Just a small lick of the proverbial ice cream.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah, and then also with the commercial side of things, we do have the strength and conditioning, just like at the original yard facility, and it's open to the general public. So like with the fight fitness, the yard classes are open to the general public, and you know, we needed to go commercial to keep this facility running. We've got to keep the lights on, and we've got to keep the pros training, so
That's it.
we have to have a commercial wing to it, and that's the thing with the facility.
Yeah, and that's the other cool thing is, like I said, with Scotty has trained professionals in other sports.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the strength and conditioning part, he knows everything there is about to know about it. He knows how to get you ready for whatever competition it is you're getting ready for. I mean, in 4 ways he's trained Olympic level athletes. It's crazy. So I mean, for us, we are just the one half is just MMA because that's the sport we're in. But it's not. If you don't want to do MMA at all, that's what we're trying to create. That you can join this facility and not even be interested in MMA. Don't even have to know what it's about.
I mean, already we've got pro tier level cricket guys who've come through, that kind of stuff. So it's not only an MMA facility, and hence why it's called the Performance Institute. And we are catering for any level athlete. And you know, as the gym grows, our amount of trainers will grow, and we're going to just try to keep that high standard that we've been known for at the yard in 4 ways, and obviously provide a holistic offering for the strength and conditioning. So it's not just a personal training session.
Yeah. What are the chances, or let me put it this way, is there talks of a second facility in the future?
Bro, we just got this one open. There were enough headaches along the way just to open these doors. So listen, we're all about growth and moving forward in that. So we'll see how the first couple of years go.
So what I want to get to, I mean, you're a guy that's been overseas. You've seen what the facilities look like. In my head, I think about the day when South Africa will have like the new version of ATT. Do you think we'll get it? Do you think you guys in 10 years would be looking at something like that, having this 50 million square meter facility?
No, for me, I 100% believe so. I don't. For us, the biggest problem the problem is not for the gym to go. The problem is where the country is going.
Yeah.
So that's going to play a big role in how far.
Skip past the political stuff.
It's not good.
No, it's just no. But in those terms, you know, if it makes economically, it has to make sense to do it. You know, you have to have people that can afford to train in a world class facility like that, because that's your biggest problem. It's not putting up the facility. Cool, we can put up money, having enough people with enough money to spend on their fitness and conditioning and training purposes. to be able to put up a professional facility like that. That's what I mean with in terms of where the country is going. And you know, we haven't taken out the question to go internationally as a franchise at all. And you know, it's something. I mean, that's what we're aspiring to do, is to become a world-renowned team. And it's yeah, this is our first, I would say, international level facility that we as a team has put up. And this is not where it ends. This is the beginning for us. This was the flagship gym, if you can call it that. But it's awesome. I think we all learned so much from this as a business and as a team, from the business side of MMA and the sports side of it. Now we see for the first time what it really takes to be a professional team, and it's I think it's amazing. And now I think anybody that trains here that sees the facility will know that we had a lot of the international guys train here for the last event, and all of them were stunned. They said this is one of the best looking facilities they've ever seen, and it's awesome. It's great to hear. It shows you where the sport has come, what the sport has come to in South Africa.
Yeah, and it's, for me, facilities like this, like obviously being quite like an MMA nerd, these sort of things get me really excited, because it means automatically that there is growth and there are other people, external forces besides the promotions, investing into the sport. 100%. You know what I mean? And this is, I mean, we saw earlier in the year Apex open up a massive facility very similar. You guys are obviously I don't think there's any argument, the two biggest teams on the African continent, being Coach Kwan University and CIT Performance Institute now. And it means that things are happening, that the wheel is turning. You know what I mean? You're not just having gyms look at the promotion and say, well, it's up to them to carry the sport forward, because it isn't. You know what I mean? That's the reality. The platform is there. How you use it and what you're able to do with it is entirely up to you. You know what I mean? And you can speak to that, to volumes, but that's for another time. You know what I mean? So it's entirely up to the athlete. And you guys have said, okay, look, we can create this facility that can literally mastermind MMA. The athletes, we can have the commercial side to make it run, and I think that in itself is amazing. And hopefully, in the next few years, we see more of these type of facilities. 100%. And I think that is the next natural evolution of the sport.
I think once we all talk about the new generation guys coming through the sport. I think the most important part of this whole exercise, as far as MMA goes, is not just second gen, your new gen fighters, but your new generation coaches that's coming through. I mean, you have guys retiring now from the world of mixed martial arts, not because it didn't work out, because of age. I mean, a guy like Dave Mazzani, for example, he just retired. A guy like Adam Speechley said, listen, I'm done. Danella, who said she's done. Just for example, if those guys started to become coaches, started coaching people, whereas first gen coaches that we have in South Africa, they had to figure this whole thing out for themselves. Now, they taught, for example, let's take me, if I had to retire. I was taught by Monet, and Monet is a brilliant coach, but he had to figure this all out for himself. Put the wrestling he knows and the stand-up he knows together, and then we have Attila with his style of wrestling and grappling together, and that kind of, Monet has to put all of that together in making it work in MMA. That MMA has grown so tremendously in the past few years that it's not a mixture of wrestling, grappling and stand-up anymore. It's a complete fight style. MMA has become styles, and these second gen coaches understand that. And that's what's going to take the sport forward, is these people staying involved in the sport. And for example, for me, if I retire, I'm 100% going to stay in the sport and be 100% coach, because I'm that second generation coaching, and then I'm going to be able to put what I've learned, get it even better understanding of it, and put that information on another student and somebody else that wants to become a coach one day, and they'll be a third generation coach with even better skill set and even better understanding for the sport. And that's where the sport is going. That is the evolution of any sport.
100%, man. Anyways, guys, I think that's all we wanted to grab, is just come and see the facility. It's an amazing facility. It looks great.
Thanks.
I mean, it really is. I know we were here. You guys weren't finished when I first came here. Now it's obviously a finished product. It looks amazing, and I think if people don't come and train here, they're definitely missing out if you're in the area. You know, like, and that's the reality of the sport. If you feel like MMA is what you want to do and you want to figure out if it is for you, these are the kind of facilities you need to be in. And honestly, I tip my hats to you guys for the investment in the sport, both financially, the time, the physicality side of it, and everything you're doing. The sport cannot grow without guys like yourself that are a new generation but pioneering the new way. We won't see athletes get overseas if they're not getting exposed to nutritionists and strength and conditioning coaches, to management and mental coaching, which I think is a massive part, and I think it's grossly underestimated and neglected, you know, and for guys to come into a facility like this and have access to all of this wealth of knowledge and information is massive for the sport, man. It's huge. A lot of people don't realize. The guys that know, you know what I mean. So I commend you guys on what you're doing here. It's a great facility, and I wish you all the best, man. I think you guys are definitely going to raise a few eyebrows and definitely get a lot of attention with a facility like this and everything under one roof. And I think it's great, man.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for popping in.
Cool, guys. Anytime. Thanks very much. So that's CIT Performance Institute. We're in Hatfield, Pretoria. I'll put the address and stuff on the link if anybody wants to check it out. I definitely recommend you come and see what's happening down here. It's a really good facility. And we're out.